episode 212. Let's go, Meat Boy UFC Kansas City. And 2 weeks ago was a pretty fascinating card, right? OGM defended his belt, or I guess got it back, you could say, versus Diego Lopez. What'd you make of that one? We'll quickly recap it. Obviously, the MEATLOCK cashed with ease, Yair Rodriguez. But straight off the top, what did you make of the meat event? How good is Volkanovski? And will Diego Lopez ever get back there?
Diego Lopes probably will. He's young, he's hungry, but he is not ready for the Volk. Um, Volkanovski looked great. He did get knocked down. I saw a bunch of people saying it was a robbery, but I don't think it was. It was a close fight, but Volk definitely is the champ. That is for sure. But no, the whole fight card was really great. Man, Michael Chandler, holy. Either Michael Chandler is in the Tony Ferguson arc of his career, or Paddy the Baddy has absolutely leveled up and he has the possibly the only good chance to beat Islam in the division. Everyone else is kind of toast. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what they do with Paddy because who do they give him next? Yeah, you're obviously a meatlock. That was light, easy work. Pitbull needs to go back to BKFC. Man, Bryce Mitchell, that was just Silva is the guy. Like holy crap. Hate him or love him, Silva is no joke in the octagon. So excited to see what he does. Not a fan of him and his demeanor and his attitude, but I am a fan of him when he enters that octagon and puts on a display like that. Kid is no joke. JV baseball player, so sick. Knew he was gonna get a knockout. He is back. He's going for gold. He's gonna get varsity this year. I'm actually really excited to see what he does.
Yeah, lots of great stuff for sure. Patty the Batty, obviously, like you said, stole the show. Beautiful finish over Michael Chandler. Really dominated him. Nobody finishes Michael Chandler in the UFC like that. So you wonder what's next for Patty. I hope we see Patty versus Islam down the road, which is crazy to even say, but you never know. Patty's a monster in there, and he's really killing it and surprising a lot of people. So good for Patty. Yair, Meatlock, easy light work. Pitbull back to BKFC as mentioned. John Silva, like you said, really took out Bryce Mitchell. I took Bryce Mitchell as a dog. Overall, by the way, you went 5-2. I went 4-3. I missed Bryce Mitchell, missed the meat event, and I also missed Sean Woodson, who got slept by Dan Ige in what was kind of a questionable decision, but a great win for Dan Ige nonetheless. But I did want to mention JV Baseball because the dude absolutely flatlined Nikita Krylov with a Conor McGregor on Aldo like step back left hook, and it was pretty much one of the slickest KOs we've seen in the division. So straight to varsity for Dominic Reyes for sure. But nonetheless, Meat Boy, again, you went 5-2. I went 4-3. Meatlock streak is on absolute tear. So should we send it into this UFC Kansas City card with another fighting nerd at the top of it?
Yeah, another fighting nerd. And then you know what? Another beat lock coming in.
Yeah, swap us through on the Meatlock because they saw the intro. They've seen this Meatlock before. It's no shocker when Michel Pereira is fighting on a UFC event that he's likely to be a Meatlock because even though he's coming off his first loss, right? Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy got the best of him. We were all over that one. That was a fight that we thought could be dangerous for Michel Pereira. We still believe that this guy is one of the best in the division, and even though he's got 50 fights, even though he looks like he's 40, the dude is barely 30 years old and is just now reaching his prime. So he's taking on Abus Magomedov, feed Abus a carrot, and this guy's 27-6-1, had lost two straight, right? Everyone was bullish on him, ourselves included, and Sean Strickland really made light work of that. And then Kyle Bahalio did the exact same a few months later, but since then it has been a nice rebound for Abus. He's won two straight. He took out Warley Alves, and most recently finished Bruno the Hulk Ferreira in a nice third round triangle choke. So it's not like the Buss is a slouch, but we do like Michelle's ability to rebound in this one, despite the recent loss. So at minus 142, what's your best pitch for why this is the meatlock of the week? And how does he get this one done against Abus Magomedov, even though he's coming off a loss?
Yeah, man, this is Del Malador is going to absolutely decimate him on the feet, on the ground. It doesn't matter. But I gotta imagine that he's probably gonna take Abus to the ground and absolutely ragdoll him. Abus is no Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Abus is more like a Andre Fiallo, but has a better chin. So I think Michelle Pereira is going to absolutely ragdoll, dominate from beginning to end, and beat the brakes. I think he's gonna do a Bahalio on him, just like Bahalio destroyed him for 3 rounds. I think Pereira is actually gonna finish him within 3 rounds.
Yeah, good stuff. And that's what Michel Pereira was doing before that fluffy fight, right? He took out your boy Petrosky. Easy light work first round finish. Michel Olugzaychek, my boy, same thing. Got smoked in the first round. And Ihor Potieria didn't even last 55 seconds. So Michel Pereira was getting these early stoppages and doing so impressively. And I like your point about Abus, how he's essentially Andre Fiallo, but with a better chin. So I think that there's a good point there. And perhaps it is another early and often finish over him, similar to how Sean Strickland did. But Abbas has made some improvements, obviously, since that fight. If we look at Tapology, though, they're overwhelmingly bullish on Pereira, 69%. Rolling with the Meat Boys, trusting the Meat Lock, only 31%, going with Abbas. So if we're taking Pereira in this one, do you think it is first round for sure? Under 1.5, perhaps? And are you rolling TKO like the Tapology backers, or any chance Pereira gets a slick sub?
I think he could get a slick sub. It's either gonna be a sub or a TKO ground and pound. I think he can get it done on the feet, but I just think Pereira's gonna want to get a finish, get a bonus, and he's gonna go in for that win.
Yeah, good stuff. I think he'll be searching for the finish and gunning for a bonus, no doubt. I do think Abus is tough, though. So while this is obviously an easy let work meat lock, I could see this going the distance. And ultimately, though, meat boy, let's keep it simple. Throw down an easy 142 to net 100. Keep the meat lock well on track. I mean, the meat lock is essentially trending greater than a lot of stonks these days. So obviously, we're keeping the streak alive with Michel de Malador Pereira. Any last thoughts on the meat lock?
No, this is an absolute meat lock, and this card's actually a pretty good card.
Yeah, it's UFC Kansas City, and the next breakdown, Meat Boy, is an interesting one, right? It's our boy Ikram Lokram Alaskarov, 15-2, who is a minus 550 favorite and still carrying the same hype and odds that he had going into that fight against Whitaker, where he got smoked. And I know I picked him to win that fight. It seemed like he really got exposed in a big time opportunity against obviously one of the GOATs in the division, Robert Whitaker. So the fact that the odds makers are still as bullish to me signifies that, well, that was Robert Whitaker type scenario, but Andre Muniz, meanwhile, did rebound nicely. He had dropped two straight before that. It was a split decision though against the Turtle, and it was very controversial at that. So what do you make of this? Is plus 410 juicy, dink worthy range for Andre Muniz, or is this a nice can for Ikram Lokram to basically get his hype back on track?
No, I mean, and this is such a good fight, but I think Ikram has a pretty good chance. Uh, I mean, seem this big a favorite though is concerning. I would avoid this at all costs. He did just get sent to the Nether Realm by Robert Whitaker, and Andre Muniz is a different animal. And I don't know. It's basically comes down to, does Andre have a better gas tank? Can Andre get him to the ground? If Andre gets Ikram to the ground and Ikram's grappling isn't as good as we would assume, just because he's a Russian, we assume he wrestles, but we just don't know how good he is at wrestling without seeing him versus some of these top guys in the UFC. I mean, I don't know. I could see Muniz getting this done. I'm gonna pick the dog lock. Big upset, full YOLO. Muniz wins by submission, big upset.
Interesting call. Yeah, I knew I could smell you inspecting that plus 410 and considering it dink worthy for sure. But ultimately, Tapology has kind of seen it very differently, right? 95% of the Tapology Timmies are rolling with Ikram Lockram, 5% go with Muniz. Half of it is by sub, though. So the friends and family picking Andre Muniz do agree that sub is in the works potentially. Of all the 95% backers, though, for Alaskarov, they think it's a Brown KO. So not only is he going to go out there and beat Andre Muniz, they think he's going to go out there and absolutely steamroll him. I'll probably lean that way, Meat Boy. I feel like it's kind of safe, but to your point, at minus 550, there's nothing to work with here. I'll take Ikram Lockram. Maybe you clench out a decision and hope that somehow Andre can survive, but I'm hard pressed to believe he wins this fight. If you call it though, Meat Boy at plus 410, that is definitely a fern in your cap, so to speak. So I'll take Ikram by third round finish in what is a non-competitive fight. You have Andre by finish.
Yeah, I got Andre by submission finish second round.
Let us know if Andre Muniz picks up his 16th submission. Obviously, it would be the craziest thing in the world. The dude is an ace down there, but I say Ikram gets back on track. Swap us through, meat boy. That's another fun one. One of your boys, Randy Rude Boy Brown, who 19-6 is coming in off a recent loss. It was a split decision though against Brian Battle, and I know a lot of people thought that perhaps Randy even won that fight. And given the fact Brian Battle showed up 4 pounds heavy, and Brian Battle's absolutely killing everyone right now, it was a good performance from Randy Brown. And arguably could have extended his win streak to 4. And before that, he's got some nice wins over Elysia Zuluski dos Santos, Muslim Salikov, and your boy Wellington Fofao Turman. So Randy Brown really kind of peaking right now. Taking on Nicholas Dalby, who's always close, had won 4 straight and just lost a split decision himself against Renat Lakradinov, and he arguably could have won that fight as well. So love the matchmaking in this one. Both these guys had win streaks screwed by the judges in a sense. You taking Randy Brown as a near 2-1 favorite, or Nicholas Dalby huffing and puffing, always snorting his way across the cage? Is he going to get this one done against Rude Boy too?
I always pick Rude Boy, but man, he's a hit or miss kind of guy, and Dalby's kind of also the same thing. Dalby looks like he's future champ some days, and then other days he's looking like a future chump, getting ready for power slap or something. But man, I think I'm gonna take Dalby in this. I think his heart, his pace, his pressure. I think he's gonna try to wrestle, and I just don't know if Rude Boy is gonna have the gas tank and the speed and the toughness to deal with Dalby. He's got to knock him out early and often, or else I think he's screwed. The longer it goes, it's gonna go towards Dalby.
Yeah, and Dalby doesn't ever get finished, right? He definitely hasn't ever been finished, right? Never been knocked out, never been subbed. He has 5 losses by decision. So if your only bet is to sleep the guy who's never been slept, then it could be a dangerous proposition for sure. But if you're taking Dalby, where do you see him having the advantages? Do you see him being able to get on the inside and land some strikes against the much longer, much rangier Randy Brown? Do you see him utilizing some kicks? Does he maybe clench up, try to take him down? Like, how does Dalby beat Randy Brown, or is it simply just heart, hustle, and muscle?
I think it's heart, hustle, muscle, and bustle, and I think he's just got to pace him, out strength him, and out grit him with just a lot of heart. I don't think there's really one thing except for just putting a clinic on him on a pace and gassing out Rude Boy, ragdolling him, finishing him. Third round.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And I mean, the value plus 200 is there for Nicholas Dalby. Nicholas Dalby's as good as they come, right? This dude is tough as nails, always a grinder, and really wears on a lot of guys. And when you look at Randy Brown's wins, I mean, I think maybe the closest stylistically would be Jared. I was going to say it could be Jared Gordon, but if you look closely, it's Jared the Night Train Gooden. So Jared Gooden, nothing like the homie that we're talking about, Nicholas Dalby. But yeah, I'm with you, me boy. I like Nicholas Dalby. Looking at Randy Brown's opponents, Trinaldo, Chaos Williams, your boy Turman, Zalusi dos Santos. None of those guys are as gritty and have the heart, the intangibles that you cannot teach from an athletic perspective that Nicholas Dalby has for sure. So I'll go Dalby. Are you going by finish or by decision?
I'm gonna go Dalby by finish, third round.
Very interesting and great call. If so, I'm going to go close but gritty decision. It ultimately comes down to the third round. Dalby likely wins a decision, though. But let us know in the comments if we're sleeping on Rude Boy and he's going to go out there and put the sleep town on Dalby for the first time, or do you like the dog dink in this one? Swap us through, me boy. This one's also fun. Giga Chikadze trying to reestablish his career, and he's taking on David Obamna, who is a minus 175 favorite. And of Giga, he's lost 2 of 3, right? This guy's 15-4 overall, but his last win was against Bruce Leroy, and it was way back in the summer of 2023. So it's been a while since we've really seen Giga have that success that he had early on when he rifled off a 7-fight win streak to start his UFC career and had finishes over Cub Swanson, over Edson Barbosa. Like, this guy was doing big things at one time, and now he finds himself as a dog against David Obamna, who has also been doing some pretty impressive stuff of late, right? 13-2, hasn't lost since our boy Nate Landwehr took him out as a solid dog in 2022, and he's won 3 straight. So in this fight, do you like Obama as a minus 175 favorite, or does Giga come back, land the Giga kick, spit some fire on the mic, and basically have one final run?
You know, man, if Giga has one final run, it's gotta be now. If he loses this, I think they cut him, to be honest. Giga's career is on the line, and it's not looking good in my opinion. I definitely worry for him, and I can't pick Giga in this one purely because he has not proven that he is worthy of winning yet. He needs to get one done to get that Giga kick back in, and so I think Giga's gonna lose this one.
Yeah, I think the only question I would have is like his losses, right? Calvin Cater, he really got exposed. His confidence kind of got shot. They gave him the can of Caceres afterwards to get it back on track, but then Arnold Allen really kind of smoked him in that fight afterwards. So Two very tough fighters though, Arnold Allen and a peak Calvin Kattar at that time, right? 2020, early 2022. Is David Onama in that category? Because when we look at Onama's wins, they're solid, right? Roberto Romero, okay, JSP no longer even in the UFC, and Gabriel Santos, who he was able to finish, but his loss to Nate Landwehr, lost to Mason Jones before that. We've obviously seen David Obama get much better, but is he yet in the conversation of a peak Calvin Kattar or Arnold Allen? And if he's not, could Giga potentially get this done?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like Onama has been kind of proving himself, and like I feel like he is near Calvin Kattar. So I think this is a long shot. So it's either Giga has to level up and get the big upset win, or this is just gonna be RIP Giga, once a legend, now forgotten.
Yeah, I like how you articulated that, Meat Boy. Very, very profound for sure. And Calvin Kattar, we just saw go up against Yusuf Zalal in a fight that basically Yusuf was trying to prove everyone that he is that dude, and he made it look easy, light work. So maybe the opportunity of Giga for Obama is all he needs to make a similar statement for sure. But nonetheless, Meat Boy, I'll roll with you in this one. I'll take Onama. Taking him by finish, or is this a decision? Is it close? If so.
I think this is probably getting a decision. Onama isn't the best finisher, and Giga, he's got heart, that's for sure. He'll take a beating, but he'll get his way through. So it probably goes decision. But it should be a good fight. I'm excited to see this how it ends out.
Yeah, should be good for sure. I'll officially roll with you. Let's go Onama by decision. I'm kind of rooting for Giga though, because he's funny. So swap us through, Meat Boy. It's the retirement fight. It's the farewell address. The final time in Meat Boy MMA history that we will ever break down a Lionheart fight. And you know I love breaking down Lionheart fights because every time this dude is talked about online, people are usually throwing shade. They're usually not picking him, and I've had my fair share of Lionheart dog picks go my way, Meat Boy. So I'm very excited to break this one down. It's a co-meet retirement opportunity against Xingming Yang, the Tiger, who is all the rage, coming in trying to be the next superstar for the country, and is a minus 520 favorite, despite the fact that Anthony Smith has one final opportunity to go out on his own terms. And when he is presented with hype beast opponents like this, as a fat dog, he often comes through. So I know you're not picking Anthony Lionheart Smith, or are you?
Man, this is a tough one because Lionheart, he's got a heart of lion, but I gotta pick the Zhang. The Zhang is the future. Uh, he's going. There's a reason why they're putting him versus Anthony Lionheart Smith. The UFC does not want Smith to win. They're gonna have him go out, get absolutely demolished, and then the Zanger's gonna get some clout from this. Um, if Smith maybe has won a few recently, but like man, the way he's been going out, it's just like it ain't looking good. So I think first round knockout, the Zanger.
Zanger by first round KO is your prediction. 94% of Tapology is seen it the exact same way. It's basically all brown. So they think that Lionheart is going to get smoked in this one early and often. It reflects the odds clearly. Is there any chance this fight extends beyond one round? And if so, can you see Anthony having some success? Because obviously we know Mingying Zhang as a tough dude who loves to get the early finishes, right? This guy's all about the early finish. In fact, this dude has never even seen a second round since 2014. So, are you at all concerned that we're dealing with Lionheart, hometown crowd, last fight ever, wanting to go out on top, survives 5 minutes, and from there we see a sort of wounded mountain tiger who was unable to get a first round finish and now has to deal with Lionheart?
Yeah, I mean, if this fight goes past the first round, it's gonna start looking really good for Smith. If it gets to a third round, Smith probably wins this. The Zhang, but I just don't think it's gonna even get past the first. I think the Zhang's gonna knock him out. Now, if you said, if recent times, Lionheart Smith's like, oh, I don't get knocked out, I have the chin of steel, and I'm just going the distance, but I'm getting destroyed. It's like that's one thing, but he's getting snuffed pretty easy early and often. So I think the Zhang's got that power, he's got the skill, and I think he'll get it done.
Yeah, the dude is a monster. He's obviously very skilled, and like you said, Lionheart has been getting finished early and often. Got finished by Khalil Roundtree, got finished by Reyes, who is seemingly back, and beyond that, he went the distance with Roman Dolidze. So if Roman Dolidze couldn't finish Anthony Lionheart Smith, is Mingying Zhang? I'm not buying it, Meat Boy. His final fight ever, I'm definitely not picking against Lionheart Smith, and I think Lionheart Smith survives 5 minutes, gets absolutely brutalized in that first round, but something goes wrong on the stool for the Mountain Tiger. And I even asked AI, I said, in a hypothetical fight, who wins, a Mountain Tiger or a lion? And it said a Mountain Tiger would likely win against a lion due to its generally larger size and stronger build. However, the outcome could also depend on individual factors like age, health, and experience. And while the age is not on my side, nor is the health, I'm leaning on the experience of Lionheart to survive 5 minutes and ultimately get a finish of his own against this hype beast in Ming Ying Zhang. So, am I tripping, or am I, for his final ever UFC fight, gonna pick Lionheart correct again?
I mean, you definitely have a compelling argument where it wouldn't surprise me. You know, with that experience, he does have that. I'm gonna go with the young buck hype train, though. You know, you almost got me, but I can't pick Smith. I don't think I ever have, and I don't think I ever will. So I'm gonna stick with what I've been doing.
You definitely never will unless we start doing power slap breakdowns for sure, me because it's the last time we'll see Lionheart. So it's been real, Lionheart. Always fun to break down. He gets it done in this final fight. Meat's taking Ming Ying Zhang. Let us know in the comments who you're rolling with, but swap us through, Meat Boy. It's the last one. The meat event. Carlos Pratas, the fighting nerd, trying to keep the fighting nerds essentially undefeated. These guys never lose, and he's doing so on shorter notice against Ian Gary, who continues his win streak, is 15-1 at this point, and most recently did drop the L to Shavkat, right? So the win streak was alive, and now it's not. This is his first time to respond after that L to Shavkat. In a fight that was close, but I think most agreed Shavkat deserved that decision. So in this one, Ian Gary is a slight favorite. Pratas, meanwhile, is a slight dog and hasn't sniffed a loss in a very long time, 2017, in fact. So are you taking Pratas as a slight dog in this one, or is Ian Gary going to rebound after that Shavkat loss?
I don't think Ian Gary will recover on that Shopcott loss. You know, I know that Ian Gary's like, I don't feel like I lost, mate. I actually feel like I won, mate, because I made someone look human. And it's like, that's some wild copium you got there, bro. You just got beat pretty easily. Like, you think you made him look human, but like, everyone already knew he was human. Like, what else would he be, right? So I don't know where he was going with that, but yeah, that was a beatdown he got. I think he's underestimating Pratis. I mean, people don't realize that the fighters that smoke cigarettes and they destroy their opponents, they're just built different because that doesn't even make sense. Like I don't know how he could even be a fighter while he smokes cigarettes, but that's just what he does. So I think this guy's a freak. He's a Yoel Romero 2.0, and he's gonna blow everyone's mind once again. And I think he's gonna decimate Ian Gary and expose him on the feet.
Yeah, lots of great points, and that's where I wanted to touch on for sure was if you're taking Protest in this one, where do you see him having the stylistic advantages over Ian Gary? Because obviously we know Ian Gary is a very great striker, maintains distance quite well, rarely gets hit, and most recently has demonstrated a little bit of a grappling attack as well. So I'm curious, where do you see Carlos Pratas having the advantages? I mean, he's obviously going to have a nice reach advantage, but where do you see him dominating this fight against Ian Gary if you think he will?
Yeah, you know, man, it'll be very interesting. But you know, he is a Brazilian. He trains with the fighting nerds. I mean, Bahilio, you got to imagine that his grappling is nice, let alone his jiu-jitsu and takedowns and all that, and defense should be really nice. So if Ian tries to grapple like he did recently, I just don't think it's going to go out as he thought it would. And you know, he had to grapple Michael Venom Page, who's like 42. He couldn't compete on the feet versus a 42-year-old MVP. He's definitely not competing with the Carlos Prates on the feet. Let alone when he goes to shoot, he's gonna go, oh no, is this Michel Pereira? Oh no, is this Charles Oliveira? Oh, it's Prate. So it's gonna be a long night, a beatdown though for sure for Carlos Prata. Easy light work.
Yeah, and you got to imagine, like you said, working with Kyle Bahalio every single day. Obviously, he's there to strike and he wants to knock guys out. That's what he's been doing in the UFC, but he's got to have the grappling, you'd imagine, at least. But we haven't really seen it yet, and I do kind of hope that this fight goes there. But it wouldn't surprise me if this fight really stays on the feet for a majority of it. It's a 5 round contest. Neither guy has ever gone 5 round. Who do you think is going to have the advantages if somehow this fight gets to the third round? Because we've never seen Pratos go there. We just saw Ian Gary go the distance, and he's never really demonstrated many gas tank issues. So, are you at all concerned to your earlier cigarette smoking point Any chance that Pratos after 10 minutes is kind of gassed out and Ian Gary can sort of dominate rounds 3 through 5 and maybe snooze out a decision, or do you see Pratos even maybe having some success in the later rounds?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see some success, but I don't know. I just gotta imagine, even though he does smoke cigs, it's like Michael Phelps, he smoked. Look at him. So I just don't know if like I guess I'd have to know like how much is he smoking? In practice, can he not go the full time? Does he have to take a lot of breaks? I feel like people would know that by now, so I just don't think a gas tank thing would be an issue. Especially like the fighting nerds, they wouldn't allow that. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" So unless he starts lacking, they'd probably make him quit the cigarettes. But clearly, he has shown no issues on that part, so I think he's gonna have no issues with the gas tank.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out. I'm hoping this fight goes longer than anticipated, but I know many people think that this fight will probably end in a finish. But if we look over at Tapology, it's awfully close, right? Just as the odds indicate. 56%, though, a slight majority rolling with Ian Gary. 44% of the protest backers, basically all of it is Brown, so they think a KO is most likely. Officially, Meat Boy, I'm kind of back and forth in this one. I just picked against a nerd last week, and it didn't work out well for me. I'm doing it again though, Meepo. I think Ian Gary's gonna find a way to get this one done, and it's not an exciting pick for me, and it's not definitely not the most confident pick in the world. But I don't know. Something tells me that Ian Gary is pretty good, and I don't see him. I haven't seen Ian Gary get slept yet, right? And I struggle to envision a world that Carlos Pratas wins a 5 round decision against a fighter who fights like Ian Gary, who he's very good at extending rounds. He doesn't expend a lot of energy. Like he's just a smart, strategic guy out there. So I say he avoids the YOLOs, avoids getting slept early, and ultimately wins a decision. I'll go Ian Gary, decision. You got Pratas by early finish or often finish?
I think it's an early or an often. So I think it's gonna be on the feet though, and I think it's gonna be a sweet kick to the head or something cool.
That'd be sweet for sure, and it would be exciting for the nerds to continue getting it done because that's all these guys do for sure. But nonetheless, me boy, good stuff. Meatlock cashes with ease this week. Michel de Maledor Pejeda. We broke down 6 last week. You went 5 and 2 off 7. How do you do this week off 6?
I think I'm gonna go 5-1.
5 and 1. I'll agree. Let's both go 5 and 1. Let's hope the one, however, is not Abos Magomedov eating a carrot over Demolador for sure. But any last thoughts, UFC Kansas City, me boy?
No, this is a great fight, fun fight. Don't comment who you like and subscribe. Make sure to smash meat.